All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode here with the Driven family. And I am honored to be on here this evening and share this with each and every one of you. And tonight we have an amazing guest, one of the best leaders I've worked with, one of the most purest people I've had the privilege of getting to know over the last, say, about 3 years. And we've done some pretty good things as far as helping a lot of people, leading a lot of people. And it's been an absolute honor and privilege to work with him and just, not only just get to know him, but really be there by his side and seeing the growth, seeing a lot of the things that he's been able to accomplish. I think, there's some things we're going to talk about this evening. And I'm really excited about this one because I've seen the growth of this individual. I've seen him, progress. And some people might think taking a step back, but sometimes you have to slow down to speed up, and that's exactly what he's done. And where he is and what he's achieved, especially over the last year, has been absolutely amazing. And to share this with him this evening is a big honor because of what he's been able to do and what he's about to do. So I want to bring up our special guest this evening, Mr. Wale Adeyemi. Again, welcome. And everything that I said is, I truly mean it. Everything that you've done, ever since we've worked together has been amazing. And it's an honor and privilege to work with you, every single day, side by side, and to see the growth and the amount of, just you being a good person. So, over the next 45 minutes to an hour, I really want to dive into a little bit about you and how we've been able to work together, and how we're here, what it is that, or how it is that we got to where we are right now. So yeah, welcome, and thank you for hopping on with us this evening and really doing this. This is amazing to have you on.
Hey, Alex. First of all, I appreciate you having me on. I'm super excited. I didn't expect to be on this call tonight, first and foremost, but ever since I've known you, you've always been somebody who has believed in me and encouraged me. And you've always brought me into these situations where I have an opportunity to share, an opportunity to connect with the team, with the organization, with, everybody that might, view this today. So I do want to say, first of all, thank you so much for that. You are the reason as to why I'm here. You're a big part of my story. You're a big part of my development here in Driven, and just as a person, overall. You've shown me what it means to be a great leader, a servant leader, somebody who puts the people before the profit, somebody that always leads from the front. And you've also shown me what it is to be a good friend. So for all of those things, I'm super grateful, super excited for this. I'm here, man.
Awesome. So let's take it back a little bit. I got in the industry of direct sales and building an online business in 2018. I got introduced to the industry because actually I saw, people in my family, my sister-in-law that was in college, and she, someone had brought an opportunity to her and she took advantage of it, and she went from really never doing any work to very successful. And then I watched my now wife at the time say, I don't really feel like doing it. She was in the medical industry, and eventually she decided to take that leap of faith on doing something on the side, something extra. But I saw the power of it, and I saw how communities that are like-minded, once they come together, that are moving towards the greater good of developing people and doing, sending a positive message out there every single day and really helping people. I knew that it was something that I really wanted to explore. Did I ever think it would get to what it is right now? No. Did I believe at some point that it would? Yes, but I didn't know how. And, that's pretty much how it was. And one of the things that I said, if I was ever going to get into something like this, it had to be something where there was something tangible that I could use for a very long time. It couldn't just be, pushing a product or whatever. I think based on my personality, that wasn't something that I felt like doing. So when I got introduced to, adding skills and using technology, for me, it was one of those things where I said, why not? my background is basically in the hospitality industry, and I just thought, why not add something extra just as a side thing. And yeah, over the last 4 years, it's turned into something pretty cool where we've met, not only you and I, but met a lot of people all across the world, and it's been absolutely amazing. So kind of take me back, like how I know you've been doing this style of business, or got into this style of work, a little bit before me, and had a lot more success than even I did when I got started very, very quickly. So how did that come about? Like, where did you go to school? What did you do? Like, give me a background. What, give people the story of Wale when you were growing up, and where you went to school, and where you kind of, how you got to where you are today, and how you got into the digital space of working online.
Yes, sir. So I appreciate the fact that you said that you started it, with the intention of it being a side gig, and it was something that you saw that you could do on the side. For me, it was a little bit opposite of that. A little bit about me. I was born in New York. I grew up, I spent the majority of my life in Florida, all over Florida, from like the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. I went to college in Florida as well, at Florida Gulf Coast University. My parents I'm the first in my family to be born here in the United States. My father's from Nigeria. My mother is from Jamaica. So they always, raised me with it's kind of what I know a lot of people that are listening to this call today have heard, to where, you go to school, you get a good job. And then from that, you go ahead and you have a good life. Like, there's this American dream, that a lot of immigrant parents, they come and they introduce to their children, right? So I did that. I followed that path. I went to school. I did well in school. While I was in school, but the thing about that is, while I was doing well in school, I was doing it for the pursuit of money. Like, I kind of went there and I was like, which job is going to pay me the most? And that's kind of how I picked the direction that I was going to be going into. So I was like, I went to school for criminal justice. I did some psychology, some political science. I was like, I'm going to go to law school. I'm going to do, things like this. As I started to get into my older years, like my third and my fourth year of school, I kind of started to lose the passion for that. I started to lose the passion for that. It wasn't really something that I wanted to continue pursuing. And that's actually when network marketing, when this industry itself was introduced to me. I saw people that did have that time freedom. I saw people that, they had the things that they want. I got introduced to this concept of not just working hard for my money, but then also being able to make my money work for me. I didn't come into it with the mindset of like a product or pushing a product. I was always kind of skill set driven. And I saw that, it was possible to learn the skill of network marketing, to learn the skill of, trading, and to create something that was substantial from that. Something for myself that was a big driver for me early on was just the simple fact that, going to law school as an attorney, I knew that I would be able to make a substantial amount of income. But then I realized that the people that I was connected to that had gone in that direction, they didn't necessarily have the time. So I realized that I would be sacrificing my time for the money at that point, which was kind of opposite of what I wanted to do for myself. So my third, fourth year of school, I actually took a break off from school, like a semester off, and I got into sales. Like, I ended up getting into sales, and, I saw the potential of, having a product or having a service and introducing a service to a market, and just how powerful that can be. Once I got introduced to the industry of network marketing, I was just like, this is it. I'm like, this not a side income. I'm like, I'm going all in. Like, I'm literally putting it down. I'm putting everything down. I'm going all in on network marketing. And I did have some early successes. It was never like a straight up, it wasn't just straight up for me. There was a lot of difficulties, a lot of adversity throughout that, but, I learned a lot, and I was able to have some early successes in the industry. But that's kind of where I got started at.
I mean, it's awesome, because I kind of want to that's usually like the foundation of how people get set up. And when we're young and impulsive, especially like I'd say in the last 6 years with the development of, like, say, social media, and how relevant it is into today's society from a very young age. This idea of seeing a lot of people online, that are kind of making it, which I don't think is, I mean, it's not real. It's just like this fake lifestyle and fake, everything. Um, you've come out on the positive side of that, because you got into, starting to do sales and starting to work and getting into to making money just for the beneficial side of the monetary gain rather than the value point. And obviously having good people around you has kind of shifted that to understanding that the only reason that you can gain any sort of monetary gain is based on the value of what it is that you do and the passion that you have for it. A lot of people kind of get into that and they kind of go off the deep end, and they're just so focused on just the money, where they lose themselves and they don't end up growing as an individual. So when I met you at the beginning of 2020, that's when you were doing sales. I remember you were doing solar. You were in the solar industry, and you were selling door-to-door solar, old school, kind of knock on the door. And I remember I got introduced to you, and you had previous experience of building an organization, and yeah, you ended up deciding to say, okay, well, I'll get back into this style of business. And I watched your leadership skills, kick in. Not only were you good at delivering a message and delivering the information, but the way that you grabbed someone and took them through that journey of your failures, your good things, the bad things, the ugly things, whatever it is that you've experienced, and kind of poured into them to where you gave them that foundation to blossom. And the amount of people that I've been able to witness you kind of help, not just from a monetary gain, but like on a personal side. Even if they're not in this industry anymore, they're fulfilling a different passion, but from the foundation and the mentorship and the guidance in which you gave them, they're doing very well. So that is something amazing that I want everyone to know, even in this short period of time, what you've been able to do. And then transitioning into kind of like, okay, well, we hit a rough patch in not between us, but just in what we were doing. And I remember you calling me one day and saying, I kind of have to go get a job. And the one thing that I said to you was, I think you should.
Yes, you did.
And I kept pushing it because I think a lot of people, even to your story, that your family were immigrants that came to the US to give you a better life, especially from like a third world country. So I grew up the beginning of my life in Africa, so I know what it's like to live out there. Now, fortunately, both my parents were doing well in the hospitality industry, but then with the political stuff, they moved to the Middle East, where I know it might look a little different now, but the growth of the Middle East over the last 20 years has been absolutely amazing. And we were fortunate enough to be part of, be at the beginning of that and to see the growth of that. So I understand what migrating and moving your family across the world is like. And, when you mention, we're taught to do these principles, I maybe go against the grain and I say those principles are actually good. To go through an educational system, to go through all of those systems, because they teach you things that life, is about, working with people, communicating with people. I also believe college is a great thing. I went to college for 4 years. I played soccer at college. And I think college is an amazing thing, because some people might say, well, you're spending a lot of money to go to college for an education that you might not use. Yes, but the development is as an individual, and the people skills in which you learn and the communication in which you develop by meeting people from all across the world is something that you can't teach. You have to experience it. And, it's crazy that after that little roadblock, when you said, I want to go get a job, I said, I actually think it's a good thing. I think you should go do that, because sometimes people get told it's a bad thing, and they use this kind of manipulation to keep you around, just so you're part of that community. But I want to touch on how you went to Dell Technologies, in one of the biggest companies in the world, and over the last year and a bit, have had multiple promotions, and congratulations to that. And you being in that structure, but then also in your own downtime, adding and refining your skill set, adding and refining and developing leaders within your extra time, and working with people, and doing other things. The balance, everyone says that there's no such thing as balance, but yes and no. That is true, but I believe that balance comes from organization. So how do you work what you do right now? Like kind of go through that journey of how that experience has been working in a very large corporation, and also the perception of what you were told to what the reality is, and how you feel right now having that, because I know it's completely different. I know that the way we speak on a personal level is not what you expected. And I know you called me at the beginning like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm ready to quit. I'm not getting paid for what I deserve. And I just said to stick it through, and eventually, you'll be where you are. And right now, with, the leaps and bounds in which you've had, kind of go through that.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And I do want to say thank you again, because it was always great just having you, as somebody to speak to, somebody that was there for me through that time. You're always somebody, and always have been somebody, to where, when I had those kind of decisions that I wanted to make, or when I had those questions that I had, or I wanted to get perspective, I was able to come and speak to you, and you were always there for me. So for me, you did touch on a point saying that I came into network marketing just a little bit earlier than you. I came into, in the industry in what I feel like was a very strange time. Like, I came into it at a time to where, certain leaders would go ahead and they would speak, and they would say, like, if you're not building, how would they say that? They say either you're going to go ahead and you're going to build your own dreams, or somebody else is going to pay you to build their own. And they would kind of try to speak against the job, saying that the job was kind of limiting you. The salary that you get is the paycheck that they pay you to forget about your dreams, is what we used to hear. And I bought into that early on. And what that came, and as I grew in this industry, and as I grew as a person, I started to realize, first of all, everything rises and falls on leadership, based on what you're told, based on what, people are speaking to you or telling to you. That's kind of going to shape, it's going to affect your life in certain ways. You know what I mean? So I came into it in a period where people were telling me that in order to succeed at a high level in this industry, I needed to go all in. And what all in was putting everything off to the side and, focusing on the business. I did that for a while, and I had successes. Like, it did work to a point. Being unbalanced did help me to kind of progress at certain levels, but then there's not, at that time, there wasn't always like a balance for me in that industry. My incomes would fluctuate, and I was learning, like, I wasn't learning the proper principles from the leadership that I was following. So when I did get involved with this opportunity, when I did continue to partner with you, to partner with the other leaders here at Driven, that was one of the biggest things. I was looking for that leadership. I was looking for people that were going to guide me in the right way, with my best interest at heart. Whether that was to tell me, you know what, you probably should slow down and you should get that job. You probably should just stick it through, even if you do seem like you, or do feel like you want to step away from it right now. I had people that were able to help me to stay grounded. Even if you start to make, some money in the industry, like, I had people that were able to help me stay grounded, throughout my process, which is a big part of my development overall. So as we fast forward to this most recent, my career at this point right now, I feel like my posture's changed. I feel like I am working for Dell Technologies, which is, of course, a very well-known company, one of the largest companies in the world. I am I'm doing well there. When I went to Dell, it was something that I did because I was kind of like, do I want to do this? I always told myself, there's the people on Instagram and, Facebook, like you said, that are not living their real life. They're like, oh, I'm retired at 25 years old, never going back to corporate America. I fired my boss, things like that, which, of course, you can get to that point to where you have that freedom. That is the vision, to have that freedom, or to at least have the option, you know what I'm saying? To have the option to work the job, not because you have to, but because you want to. And I believe that this industry is something that can create that opportunity for people. However, I feel like because of the perceptions on social media, we're watching other people in their journey. We don't know what they're going through. We just see the highlight reel, you know what I'm saying? And because of that, we go ahead and we rush our process, and we go ahead and we put ourselves in positions that we don't have to be in, before we just take that time and develop ourselves. So when I took a step back and I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work this job. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get a job. I had to get an entry level. They took care of me in the beginning, but an entry level position at Dell. And what that did for me was it created structure in my life, structure that I needed. I didn't give up on my dreams. I didn't give up on network marketing. I didn't give up on those things that I was pursuing, but I allowed that to be my structure. I allowed it to create a foundation for me. I allowed it to make sure that my basic needs, that lowest level, if we think about like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like that lowest level, which is, I was able to fulfill those things. And it did a lot for me. It changed the way that I looked at my business. It changed the way that I looked at the opportunity, rather than going out and saying, you know what, I'm about to go out and I got to go tell this to everybody. I got to go out and go crazy and just, recruit. I got to bring everybody into my business. I came to a point to where, at this time I can be more selective about who I work with. I can do it for the right reasons. I'm not doing it for a paycheck. I don't have to go and say, you know what, I got to bring this person. I got to sign you up for a paycheck, or I got to sign you up for this or for that, because all of those base level needs are taken care of. It not only affected me in my business, but it also affected me in my trading, because there's been points I've had highs and I've had lows in my trading. And there's been points to where like I've seen these really high highs and I've had these really low lows. And I realized that sometimes when I hit those lowest lows is because I was trading from a place of need. Like I was rushing my process. Then again, you know what I mean? And it kind of like these things it's one and the same, although they're in two different directions, two different parts of the industry. It's the same principle. So the job at Dell, it enabled me to create the structure, to create the foundation that I can then build off of. So now when I do everything, I know that I'm doing it from, a place of like, when I bring somebody into this, like I'm really bringing them in because I know what this can do for you. I know the potential that this has. I know the potential that this opportunity has and what the community can do for you, because it's done that for me. I know by the connection that I bring people into, I look at people when I bring them into an opportunity or I bring them into this business, and I'm saying, what value can the community bring to you? But also, what value can you bring to the community? And I feel like that's changed the way that I go about my business. It's changed the way that I operate in my life in general, because I feel like I'm doing it from the place that I always wanted to do it from. I always wanted to. I do feel that I operate from a place of good intention, but at the same time, when I go ahead and you put yourself in that position to where I just need to recruit so I can pay my fees, my subscriptions, or I need to pay my bills, or whatever the case may be. You're doing it, and sometimes the leadership that people need is not the leadership that they get because your intention wasn't right from the start. So I feel like by having, first of all, having leadership like yourself, like Corey, having leadership like Gary, having leadership like all of you guys that speak the proper things to you, that can talk to me on a real level from my best interest. Like I said, again, everything rises and falls on leadership. And that's something that I found here. And outside of that, just having that job has created structure for me in my life. And it's just like, it's done great things for me. I think about just the last thing. I think about just like even the Jim Rohn video that we've all heard. He talks about, working full-time on his job and part-time on his fortune. And I can take that mindset because I have those things that are supporting me. And then I can now think about elevating beyond that.
It's awesome to hear, but also like I kind of want to transition into especially like the trading aspect. See, a lot of people, especially over the the last 2 years, have heard of crypto or heard of blockchain technology, have heard of decentralized markets, but also trading in the foreign exchange space, the futures markets, the options markets. There's just so many different markets in which people are getting involved in, or their awareness to get in is at its all-time high, especially over the last 2 years, where kind of, we were locked away, and it's like, what do you do with your time? When people start looking at things of, okay, what can I do with my time? What can I add to my life? But the thing is that people don't understand is trading is a practical skill set, and it's something that takes a long time. And I can hand on heart say it on a live call that it's taken me a long time. A long time. It's taken me like, I'd say like really to have a solid breakthrough like 2022. So like a good 3.5, 4 years. Like I'm okay to say it. And one thing that people don't have is patience, but also like peace of mind, that they're so in a rush to kind of flip accounts and make so much money, kind of like you at the beginning of your journey of making money. You're just like in it for the money, and you don't care what's outside of it. Having that, obviously we know psychology is the main thing, but having that income from your steady, job and working at a very good level, using your education and using your people skills and using all the experiences in which you've grown from, how has that helped your trading as far as like the psychology? Because I know, again, I've been on the roller coaster with you for the last nearly 3 years, and I've seen your highs and I've seen some lows, and one of the biggest things is like, the lows are typically because you're dependent on it and you're trying to force things when you're not supposed to force it, and you go against every rule that you've ever made or every trading plan that you've ever created. How is the shift in yourself and the comfortability in going into a market or using your analysis and trusting your analysis, whether it goes to where you want it to go or it doesn't, but trusting it, knowing that you're not trying to flip an account, or you have a good solid base where you can use that continuously over and over again every single day, working and coming in your free time to kind of work on that craft and develop that skill set. But then also how the education in which you've learned, especially over the last 4 months, is how, because I've seen the difference in yourself. Like, how has that shifted too? So having the job for like a steady income stream, that again, making money requires money, but then on top of it, how the psychology of it has helped, but then also paired with good education and good leadership from traders that are very well spoken, and have the eye in the market by being completely emotionless to what it is that they're executing. How is that kind of played in your life right now?
Man, I want to start with the second question. Just talking about the education itself and just the trading portion of it itself. Because you're right. When I first started trading, it was it comes back to like that perception that I was talking about, or, watching social media like I was talking about, and, just kind of seeing how people would come into it. And you know that the success is possible because you see other people winning, you see other people succeeding. So you rush your process. You want to move in the way that you want to move. You want to try to go ahead and over leverage accounts. You want to go ahead and try to flip accounts or grow things like too quickly, or you want to do anything like that. It was early on in my trading career, just kind of seeing those things without having the proper people in my ear telling me, kind of guiding me, giving me that education. Like it was something that it definitely created some bad habits within myself. Things that even at this point now, like I'm still working to, unlearn some of those habits and relearn them the right way. I look at the education that we have right now, and I think about it, and I'm just like, wow, if this is what I had when I first got started, how much time would I have saved? Like what hurdles would I have avoided if I had this education, if I had this guidance? Because what we're seeing right now, the education that I have in front of me right now, I feel comfortable putting my family in front of this. Like I feel comfortable. I've got my father, my sister, my girlfriend, like my whole family is literally learning this skill set right now because it's built on proper principles. It's built on a proper foundation. And I think that that's such an important such an important thing to have, having that long-term plan or a long-term vision, not thinking about these, quick flips and just, instant gratification is really what it was. But I think that just having that education has been something that's been priceless to me. I'm super excited just to still be learning, to still be a student, to still be, revising and just refining my skill set as a whole, learning from some of the best traders that are, in the industry for sure. To your second question, or your first one actually, was, how has my, time, how has my, my time in my current career, like my salary that I have now, how has that affected my mindset? It's been night and day. It's a complete difference, from trading for need versus trading for the skill set, trading your plan. I think that that's where like things are starting to, and I'm still in that process. Like when it comes to breakthroughs, I feel like I'm in the middle of that right now. I feel like I'm in the middle of seeing a breakthrough in my trading right now, because I'm able to look at it from a different perspective. When I now trade, I do have I still work my job. I still work my job. One of the biggest things for me in my life right now is just that balance, finding balance across all areas, my career, my business, my trading, my relationships, my physical fitness, just finding that balance within everything. I think it's all important. I don't think that there's one area that's more important or less important than the other. But when it comes to that financial plan, when it comes to actually my trading itself, what I've now done is I've come up with a financial plan that works for me. Everybody's plan is going to be different, right? I have it broken down to where I keep my little black book beside me at all times, and I've got that set, and I know what percentage of my income is going to pay my bills and my expenses, right? I also know what percentage of my income is going to, to pay my tithes, because I pay my tithes, you know what I mean? And then down from there, what percentage of my income is going towards my education? What percentage is going towards my investments? What percentage is going towards, my play? Because you gotta have fun with it as well. I have it set up. I have it designated, so I have a percentage that goes to play, to where at the end of the week, you got to blow this money. You got to spend that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a percentage of my income. It's accounted for. But I also have a percentage of my income that goes to my trading. A percentage goes into holding, cryptocurrencies or a longer term investment. And then a percentage goes into my Forex trading account. So now I have that plan of how I'm funding my account from that salary, from that job. So it's not that my career is holding me back or my job is holding me back from it, but it's actually enabling me. It's actually allowing me. I don't have to go ahead. I don't have to recruit anybody to make money. I don't have to bring anybody into the business to make money, because I have an education budget that pays for me to learn. And then I have money that is paying me to invest into my account. And then from that point in time, now I just focus on the skill set itself, and I set rules for myself, whether that rule is to, 2%, 1% to 2% per trade. And then I'm out at this point. Once you hit that target, you're out. I don't have to go ahead and, try to and sometimes, and I'm not going to lie to you, sometimes I still have those bad habits, like I said, that I'm still trying to.
But you're human, you're human.
You know what I mean?
And a lot of people are impulsive. So it's part of, it's part of who we are. But I think the biggest is to identify that, learn from it, and kind of try your hardest to not do it. You know what I mean? So
absolutely. And just having that plan, like overall, having that plan, I feel as though it affects you in multiple different ways. Because number one, you're trading for a purpose. You're trading for the skill set as well. You're not trading for just the income. The income comes when you pursue the skill set itself, which is why I love this platform, because of the fact that this now is like, that is the focus. That's the focus. The focus is the education. And if you go and share the business, if the business builds, that is, it normally happens just like not even as the intention. It happens as a secondary part of this overall thing, because we're doing it correctly. We're learning the edge. We're learning the skill set first and promoting that people learn the skill set. So just having that plan overall, trading for that reason, I think it's been an amazing difference for me, night and day.
I think, the biggest takeaway is the psychology of like peace of mind, to know that if you trust your plan and you trust your education and trust your analysis, you can go into the, that trade emotionless, because you're not attached to the outcome. You're completely detached, because you're at ease with, your environment. I think a lot of people are encouraged by so many different external things of, I need to make X amount to pay for that, or I need to make X amount to go here and do this with that person, like whatever it might be. And I think when you eliminate that rush and you have that moment of like, okay, like I'm just gonna relax and have a steady income coming in. There's nothing wrong with a steady income, and then have something that's compounding over period of time where it makes a lot of sense. And I think, again, some people oversee that because of poor communication, poor leadership. People are trying to push them into things that they don't want to be in. They want to learn how to use the skill set. The expectations are set incorrectly. They're told they can come in and have a $1,000 account to a 6-figure account in 90 days. Like, that's not realistic. Like, there's a reason why 95% of people never ever are even profitable, never mind make it. Like, profitable is one thing and make it is a whole different ballgame. And I think when people come in with the mindset of just to be a little bit, slightly profitable and have that safety net, I wouldn't say safety net, but to have that security of continuous cash flow coming in month after month, those are typically the people that really accelerate in and end up turning it into a career, because they came in with the right expectation. They came in with the right mindset. They came in with the right psychology. They came in with the right time on their side to not rush it because there was no need to. And like it's something that's, amazing when you see the testimonies and the results of people that do it correctly. And, one of the main things that I really wanted to touch on was, a lot of people were told or are told, you have to only focus on just this. You have to drop everything, and kind of, a lot of people are misinformed and put themselves in like a little hole. And that's one of the reasons why, when I was doing this, I said I wanted to do it with you, because I think the message is so powerful that when you have the right foundation and you have the right surroundings around you and the right people around you, but also work in the corporate side and also build your skill sets and sharpen them in your own time, it's possible. It's possible with good organization. And, it's amazing to see like what it's become for you. And now I know your story and I know your actions are inspiring a lot of people to kind of say, well, I'm in no rush. The expectation is set correctly. And I'm willing to go through however long it takes. There's no timeline as to what the end goal is. Like, I have to make a 6-figure income or even $10,000 or $50,000 in the next 6 months, or I'm done. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways for people, especially those that are listening to this, is there's no rush. And to have what you have right now, and how you kind of had to take one step back to now be 10 steps ahead. It's okay to do that. And it's okay to continue to have streams of income within your life, because it's possible, it's manageable. It's just, again, down to good organization.
Absolutely, I definitely agree, and I think it is possible. It can be done, and I think that the whole basis of it is just creating it on you're looking at your journey, but basing it on proper principles, a proper foundation. And I think that's what we're doing here. I know that's what we're doing here. And that's just what I continue to want to, share with my organization, to share with the people that I come in contact with, whether they're in the business or not, just knowing that if we build this on a strong foundation, then we can build off of that. So some of these principles, some of these things that we're thinking about, that's exactly what I'm looking to share. That's exactly what I'm looking to put into the community to contribute to the community, to contribute to, my friends and family, to just continue to teach that, to build that proper foundation, to not rush your process, to not go ahead and, look at the next person. If you look at the next person who is having that success, you look at them, from a place of inspiration or motivation, but not comparing your day one to their 365, or if it's more like myself, they're 5 years, 6 years in, you're not comparing yourself to that person. And I think that those are the things that we're building here in this community. I think the fact is just coming and focusing on the skill set itself, regardless of if you make the money or not. Like, if you don't make the money in the next 3 months, if you don't make the money in the next month, if you don't make the money in the next, and the thing is, that's not even happening because people are coming in here and, making money, as it
Well,
comes.
again, it's the expectation of making sure that, and to the perseverance to keep going and keep going and keep
That's
going
it.
and not giving up on themselves or just
That's it.
like it's not, the market is not going anywhere. There's no rush to, rush it, because again, you're doing more damage to you than good. So kind of like tying into like towards like to wrapping it up, what where do you see yourself in the next 5 years with having this these breakthroughs, especially in the last 6 months to 12 months? Like, what do you see yourself, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Because I want to have you on again in a couple months time, just to show the progression as well, just in months. But I also want people to see like this isn't a overnight thing. So like in 5 years time, like where do you see yourself, and what is it that you feel like where you'll be?
In the next 5 years, I see myself still building communities, still connecting with people, still using, above all, just, taking that experience that I've gained over these last 5 years, as well as the things that I learn over the next 5 years, and being able to pour that back into the community to continue to help people on their journey, to continue pulling people up. I see myself traveling. I see myself, connecting, closer with my family, being able to, see my friends and my family financially free through the skill set as well as their other endeavors. I see myself doing a lot of different things. I see myself doing a lot of things. I see myself connecting, building those friendships, building those relationships. Just really just living in that, that purpose. I feel as though for me, I feel that a big part of my purpose is attached to people. And I see myself continuing to help others to develop themselves, continuing to encourage others, continuing to pour into the community overall, for the next 5 years. So I definitely would love to get back on in the next couple of months. I know in the next couple of years, it's going to be and it comes down to that compound effect as well. Like it comes down to that compound effect because the small activities, the small actions that are taking place right now, from a proper foundation, continuing to build, there's no telling how far we can go. There's no telling how far I can go, within the next 5 years, the impact that we can really have. So I'm super excited for the future, super excited for the next 5 years, developing myself. I definitely see myself in the next 5 years. I am a professional in my field, a professional trader, a professional networker. I feel that I'm going to be a professional. All of those things that I start to, I'm sitting there and I'm refining my skill set right now. I see myself putting myself into a position to where I am, completely financially free. And what financially free means to me is that time freedom, having the freedom to be, that the freedom to do what I want with who I want when I want to. I really see that as the possibilities and, what's going to happen in my life in the next couple of years here.
I mean, I definitely see that happening, just because I've seen what on over the last 2 years. Never mind, the next 5 years with the progression in which you've made, and it's amazing to be by your side to witness that, because I know there's a project that not only yourself but people in your family are working closely with, and giving back to, countries back in Africa, and providing access to more information and just giving them more of an opportunity. And I know that's a big project that you've been working, and I definitely see that coming to life. But the biggest thing taking away from that is doing it with the people that you love, and the people that you're closest with is amazing. So I can't wait to witness what you're about to do, and see what you have already done, but to really accelerate it now 10x, because you have all of the, I'd say, all the experiences from ups and downs to where you're now at this, at that situation now of understanding what works, what doesn't work, what works for you, and what doesn't work for you. And I think that's one of the biggest things is what works for you might not work for someone else, and how long it took you to be successful in what you do right now isn't the same as what someone else's journey might be. Some people might get it in 3 months. Some people might take 6 years, whatever it might be. It's just everyone's different, and comparing is one of the biggest things that, or one of the worst things that people can do. So I definitely, I definitely had fun doing this, and I'm super proud of you and working beside you, and seeing everything that you've been able to do. And yeah, it's been amazing. So I'm happy that we got to do this. Is there any, you want to go over anything just before we kind of wrap up, or?
Man, I just want to say again, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you having me. I'm grateful for being able to share a little bit of my story today. I definitely look forward to continuing to build with you and with the community, continuing to grow. I feel like when it comes to the trading, the trading business, as well as the network marketing business, like it is all a process of it is a journey, right? It is a journey that we all individually take together, right? We're all together taking this journey. We're all going in our own direction. And I think that is really amazing, because throughout this process, it's a process of us learning ourselves and us developing ourselves and refining ourselves. And, there is always that saying of, iron sharpens iron. So really being a part of this community, to where I have people like you that are, able to help me to refine myself and to grow and to develop. It's something that is, I can't put a price on it. So I'm super excited. Again, I'm super grateful for you having me today. Hopefully I get a chance to share my story again in the next few months, the next couple of years, and we'll see as things continue to develop.
Amazing. Well, I definitely appreciate it, and again, I'm grateful for you and everything that you've done. So yeah, that kind of wraps it up this evening, and it's been one of the best best things I've done over the last couple of months, to have this set up with you, and to speak about it, just because I've seen the growth, and I want other people to see as well that how much you've grown. And I know people see it, but to share that story of like the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, the ugly, what it really looks like. And I hope people got some insight to keep going, and it's okay sometimes to slow down, to speed up, and just persevere and keep going, and not giving up on themselves, or not trying to rush the process. So I definitely appreciate it, and I look forward to watching you continue to grow. So I think that's it for this evening, and we'll see you again next week. So have an amazing night, Wale, and thank you for being on here this evening with me.
Absolutely. You have a great night as well.
Take care.
Take care, everybody.